What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Chris, aka May 25th from the Expansion Pack podcast. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about Dead Space, because and everything else that EA showed us recently. We're also going to be talking about Netflix and them actually dipping their toe into the gaming world, because that's crazy. And the Coalition. They showed us a couple things graphically that's going to make you go, wow. So let's get into it, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's gaming news and we bring it straight to you. This is episode 38. I'm your host, Denzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my co-host as always each and every week, starting off with Manny, the thinker, aka Goop Master Flex. What's going on, my boy?
I couldn't keep a straight face. Well, stay gooping, yo. Stay gooping.
Stay gooping as always. And then we got the one, the only Chris, aka Chocolate Greatness, aka The Angel Voice, aka May 25th. What's going on, my boy?
Why you do that, man? Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, he reached back like 10 years plus with that one, man. Come on, man. Come on, bruh. You know that shit. Fuck it, I'ma own it. That shit was hitting back then, man. Fuck all the bullshit. Anyways, I'm out here. We'll try to revert back from that. Ignore what he just said. Now, what does that mean? Nothing. Nothing. It means nothing.
Nice.
It means absolutely nothing. Let's get to the damn game.
Oh, let's get to the games, boys. Let's get to the games. That's what we're always here to talk about each and every week.
Violated, bro.
Hey, man, you gotta rock with it, bro. That was you back then, man. Gotta embrace it.
I'd expect that.
I didn't expect it either. It just came out. It is what it is. So, Chris, what have you been playing this week, man? Talk to me.
I dig into Destiny every week, but aside from that, a lot of Fallout. I'm currently at level 53 in Fallout now. On my crusade to level 100. Guess I play a little bit of Warzone here and there. I actually kind of got into Black Ops for the first time, like in terms of the multiplayer, because it's free or whatever this weekend. So I jumped in and did a little bit of that. Finally got to level up a couple weapons a little bit. And then a little bit of Splitgate whenever they kind of let me in the server, because Lord knows that them servers ain't not messing with me, bro. They not messing with me. So, but when I do get into the servers, it's pretty damn dope. I'm not mad at it. I showed it to my coworker, and he goes, "Yo, these dudes look like they fixing to get sued by Portal, man. I don't know about this one. This one look kind of, I don't know, man." I'm like, I don't know. I never really played Portal like that, but if it's really like ripping it that hard, I don't know, maybe.
It's literally a perfect rip of Halo and Portal. Like that is the game. That is all it is. But I mean, it's been around for a while, so I don't really think.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, apparently it's been out in early access on PC for a little over a year, and it's just now kind of hitting on consoles. So, but then again, it wasn't really that popular. So, who knows now? Maybe that it's gaining a little bit of traction. Maybe Bungie might care. Well, 343 might care. Maybe Valve might care. Well, who knows? Valve doesn't really seem to be care about making games right now. So.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, no, definitely a good game. I was in there with you, playing a little, well, trying to play a little bit, but
we had some problems.
Really cooperating, but yeah, Manny, what about you, man? What you been playing this week?
A little bit of 2K. Got that 2K fever, even though the game could be dog water at times, but playing. I play Apex as well. I got a dub with Danny on duos. I got to get back on that game. That game's nice. And Uno, Uno's pretty lit. What can I say? I be catching people off guard with them draw 2s and 4s.
I've been waiting for cats to play that, man. Let's get it, man. On now.
We got to work on that. We got to set aside a time, get a stream going and whatnot. But yeah, for me, I've just been playing 2K as well, because I've definitely gotten the itch, especially after the NBA Finals and now the Olympics are here. So definitely trying to get my itch scratched with 2K. Pause. And then also I'm trying to get through The Last of Us Part 2. I kind of gave up. Gave up is not the right word. I've kind of put Ratchet and Clank on the back burner for a hot second because I really want to get back into Last of Us. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in this one location where I've got a bunch of stalkers on me. But yeah, man, that game is so freaking amazing. Like, I wish that there was like a PS5 enhancement of some sort aside from just the frame rate stuff.
Give us a director's cut.
Don't do the director's cut. Just give us freaking visual enhancements for free, Sony. We already bought the game. I already bought the console. Don't make me spend another $20-$30. Freaking nonsense. Oh my god. Although I'm not gonna lie, if they charge me like $10 for some ray tracing in that game, I'd probably buy it because beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, though, and speaking of ray tracing, that actually is going to bring us to our first topic for the week here. So, today, as we're recording this on Monday, the Coalition, the studio that we know from making Gears of War and pretty much only Gears of War right now, they actually released, I guess you could say like a couple tech videos or tech demo videos of them experimenting and playing around with Unreal Engine 5. And as we know, Unreal Engine 5 is not out yet. And we know that the Coalition has some pretty deep knowledge about Unreal Engine in the past. Unreal Engine 4, that's kind of like the core element of Gears of War. It's been for the past couple years. And we know the amazing work that they've done with Gears of War 5 with Unreal Engine 4. So, I was definitely looking forward to seeing what they were going to crank out with Unreal Engine 5 in particular. And yeah, this demo did not disappoint, man. They released two ones in particular, one of which was more focused on an actual individual, a person. They showed off like kind of a lot of facial detail, definitely showed off like real visual fidelity with the beard. Like we were talking about this a little bit in before we started recording, like the beard follicles. Oh my god, it's insane. But then the second one was more of kind of like a temple, and they were really referencing the I think what they call the lumen system, which is kind of their version of ray tracing, or I guess their imitation of it in a way. The lighting looked absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'll post the clips here as well so you guys can see, but man, it looks absolutely amazing. So I want to dive into you guys' thoughts on this. What are you guys expecting to see next? I know that we've heard some rumors that the Coalition may not be working on another Gears of War game just yet. There's a couple rumors floating around that they might be working on a Mandalorian game, or just a brand new IP altogether. So, what do you think these guys can really bring with Unreal Engine 5? Manny, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, look at this little tech demo just showing just like the dude's face, which is like shows how far we come with gaming in general. I mean, we've seen it a little bit with the beginning of this generation in games like 2K and FIFA looking great, and like a little bit of like trailers with showing Forza and everything else. But like you just seen the detail itself on just a character's face, and like you mentioned, the beard, the hair, and everything like that. And it's just crazy because like this is all happening in the Series X. So like they're just like tapping into the potential of what can be brought on in the future. So since we're like really early in this generation, we're just seeing like progress like this. I just can't imagine what will be like in the next like 5 years, 10 years, or so on, and how like these small little details come to these like could be brought onto these characters pretty much.
Yeah, man. And even to your point, like that hasn't even necessarily factored in some of the things like AMD's like super resolution stuff, like different pieces of technology that haven't actually been attached to the Series S and X architecture just yet. Like developers are really just getting a chance to dive into some of these tools. So yeah, I mean, 10 years from now, we'll definitely more than likely be on another console generation. But even like you said, within the closer 5-year period, like some of the enhancements and things that they can do, it's going to be insane. Chris, I want to get your take on this, man. What are you expecting to do?
First things first. If y'all don't know this by now about your boy, I be looking at hair in video games. All right, that sounded weird, but follow me, right? Ever since I was a wee lad and I started being into video games and really started like looking at graphics and starting to really see how they were improving and things like that, there was always two things I always paid attention to. Oh, they can't see my fingers. There you go. Two things. One was water, and the other one was hair. I feel like they got watered down. Water, I don't worry about water no more in video games. It looks beautiful, especially with ray tracing and all that other kind of shit. They have gotten the physics on that. It's gorgeous. I ain't mad at water no more. And then if y'all recall, I remember wilding out when Red Dead came out and I saw the snow mechanics and how they worked when they walked through the snow. And I was like, bruh, I don't care about anything else. The snow, though? Nobody's talking about the snow. Like, I was wilding. It was just awesome. So when I saw the beard thing, I was like, bro, this is wild looking, man. Like, the light is bouncing off of each hair on the left side of his face in the video. And it's like, there's so many good things there. The way how the lighting works, and you could see a different side on, or a big difference on the right side compared to the left. You know that the light source is coming from this side. You see the reflection of the light coming off of the. It was just really, really nice. And I'm not gonna hold y'all. It made me think this. I don't know if I'm ready for like scary games in the future, y'all. I'm gonna be real. Yo, the shit's starting to look a little too real. All right, and nah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for this shit, man. Like when they come out with Outlast 4 or something like that, and bruh, I don't know, bruh. I don't know. I think it's a good thing in terms of how they can work it in the future. But like, I think horror games in specific, or in particular, have a lot that they can do with this stuff because they can crank up that dial to scaring somebody that's playing a game to a level that hasn't been attainable before, in my opinion. A lot of other games are going to benefit too. We're talking about the Forzas and all the other realistic stuff too. That stuff is definitely going to benefit. But I just think about horror games in particular and giving somebody that true I'm scared experience. I don't know, man. That's all I'm saying. You're talking about we're messing with lighting, and we're talking about, good hair follicles, and now you create some evil beast, right? With some crazy hair, and you messing with the lighting and stuff, and you got the flickering lights in the hallway. Bruh, it's gonna look too real, and I don't know if I'm ready. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could just look back to Resident Evil Village as like an example alone. Like, it's been a while since Resident Evil's been out, so I guess this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but there's a moment in Manny, you would know this as well, but like it's a moment that everybody references in the game. It's the most Silent Hill that Resident Evil gets, and that's the what's it called? The house. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of the boss in that particular world, but it's a small house. Basically, you go into the basement. There's a couple puzzles that you have to solve, and there's a moment where you're walking down the hall. The lighting is done in such a way that you can't see much in front of you until you get to a certain point, and then there's this large baby-looking penis thing that just kind of comes out at you. Nah, bro, it looks very weird when you look at it for a hot second. It looks kind of like looks like a dick, bro. Just I'm not gonna lie, looks kind of like a dick.
Penis.
I wasn't ready for that. I ain't gonna lie. I did not expect it to go there.
I wasn't ready for it either, Chris.
I don't know what game Dunzo playing, but
bro, you tell me that shit didn't look like some weird looking like baby nah, bro.
Like that.
That shit was
you gotta
weird.
Agree with him, Goop. You can't leave him out there like that.
You can't do me like that, Chris. Come on, man. You can't do me like that. Nah, but
come on, man.
I was literally walking down the hallway, and obviously, Manny, you know the situation, so you can definitely attest to it. But like, it just looks weird. It's like it doesn't look real, right? It's not a real thing, like because obviously that doesn't exist in physical space, but it looks realistic, and it's just more like, what the fuck is this? And then I just like hit back B, and then I ran the other way, and I like could not keep looking at it. Mm-hmm. Like looking at it is so just makes your like skin curl. It's just
I felt that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. And I can only imagine like these games, like you said, you get more realistic, you get, like you said, hair follicles and the lighting and all that different stuff. It's only going to get better. And this new Silent Hill game that they're dropping, right? Like Bloober Team and Konami, like what the hell kind of technology they're going to get their hands on with that, man? I'm not. Silent Hill is already a weird ass game, bro. I'm not trying to see Pyramid Head out here in 4K all up in my face with whatever weird hair follicles he got going on. I'm not ready for that either. I'm not. I love me some horror games, but I don't know if I could. I'm not streaming that. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not streaming it. Nope.
Y'all not about to see me like that. Oh, nah.
Nope.
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you what I've been playing this week, but y'all not about to see me like that.
Y'all ain't catching me like that.
That is funny.
But yeah, I mean, Manny, what are you thinking about this from a horror game standpoint, right? Like, obviously, you play horror games with me, so anything in particular you could think of, like that Unreal Engine could really enhance?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll probably have to echo with the horror because like like we're talking off cameras, like back in the days, like Resident Evil 1 and the PlayStation 1 days or so, like horror games, we thought they were scary for what it looked like, but imagine like seeing Nemesis, like, well, I mean, we already seen Nemesis before, but like, what I'm saying, but even more detail all up on your face with the drool and everything. No, but yeah, I do agree though. Horror games definitely could take advantage because, like, part of me feels like I want to say it's like a dying scene, but you don't see too many like AAA horror games nowadays. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making a comeback apparently. We'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, horror games make a little comebacks. You love to see it. You love to see it. So yeah, one last thing I wanted to mention before we dive into our next topic here is Manny, you mentioned where we've come with gaming graphics and whatnot, and I always think about this here, Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil, and bear with me guys, my favorite game of all time, like franchise of all time. So I'm always gonna reference it when we talk about horror stuff. But in the very first game where you're in the mansion, and I remember like it was kind of your first interaction with the zombie. And like the zombie was like eating the person up, whatever, and then it turns around and like it looks all fucked up because it's a zombie. And I remember thinking like back then on PS1 with pixelated ass graphics, I was like, oh shit, this is scary as hell. Ah, bruh.
Yeah, that seems so iconic, yo.
So bad now. You look back at it,
It
you
looks terrible now,
bro. I remember playing it like maybe like 15 years ago, or whatever, and just freaking like, what like. I thought of that scene specifically as cheesy and more than scary because like it was. I mean, for what it was at the time, it was like good, but like it was just funny because just like the way this something just. You know what I'm saying? What?
Actually, style just it was I don't know, that it had me fucked up back then, bro. Not gonna lie. But now you look at it, it's like, man, what the hell are you scared of? That don't look real.
Your facts.
That 8-bit ass zombie, like, what's wrong with you?
I try to really run and just fall over on them blocks and man, like, come on, man.
Look like Minecraft Steve, bro. Come on.
Yo, real talk. That's Minecraft Steve going wild, bro.
Oh man. All right, but yeah, no, that's yeah. We'll see where gaming takes us with all this graphical stuff. Not ready for the horror games, but I'm ready for just about everything else. So
yeah.
Diving into the next topic though, talking about the future of video games, Netflix may be something that we might have to start paying attention to at least. There's some rumors that came out, I want to say a couple weeks ago, just kind of talking about Netflix floating around the idea of diving into gaming. I know that they went out and hired former EA and Oculus executives to kind of head up their gaming development studio, or I guess arm of Netflix, I guess would be a better way to put it. But yeah, I mean, we've been hearing rumors swirling around for quite a while, and Netflix has kind of finally confirmed that they're interested in getting into the gaming world. I think they, well, let me just read the article here from The Verge here. So Jay Peters writes, Netflix revealed that in its initial efforts in gaming will be focused on mobile games and that the games will be included with users' Netflix subscriptions. So basically, looks like Netflix announced this in their quarterly earnings last week. So according to Netflix, this is what they said to their investors here. We're also in the early stages of further expanding into games, building on our earlier efforts around interactivity, as in Black Mirror and our Stranger Things games. Did they really have a hand in those Stranger Things games? I mean, I guess
I didn't
it
think
was
they
their
did, but
IP,
maybe.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. Anyways, we view gaming as another new content category for us, similar to our expansion into original films, animation, and unscripted TV. Games will be included in members' Netflix subscriptions at no additional cost, similar to films and series, which is probably a lie because you know how Netflix increases their
Mm-hmm.
subscriptions. But either way,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Initially, we'll be primarily focused on games for mobile devices. We're excited as ever about our movies and TV series offerings, and we expect a long runway of increasing investment and growth across all of our existing content categories. But since we are nearly a decade into our push into original programming, we think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games. I think that's a really interesting quote or way to frame it, right? Um, Chris, I think you had an interesting comment about this before we really started recording, and I guess I'll give you the opportunity to go ahead and say it here. But what do you make of this news in particular and that quote specifically?
Um, to me, that tells me that if they're going to be looking at it from that angle, then maybe they are going to do what I kind of want them to do, which is hopefully kind of come up with content that meshes with what they already built and use that stuff. Almost like, this is going to sound weird, but maybe like a reverse version of kind of like how people do things with Marvel. Like how we have a lot of the comics for source inspiration, and then they kind of platforms for everything else that they do with the IPs and stuff. I kind of feel like this is the reverse of it, almost in a sense where like now they have movies and a lot of original TV shows and stuff that they can use in terms of storylines and stuff, and make video games out of them. And not only just that, but they can make an interactive experience with it too. With the Black Mirror type of stuff. With oh gosh, there's so many different things I could think about in terms of Netflix, what they can do with different things. They can even possibly get big on, the VR stuff. Remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about, using VR more in a productivity way or whatever. You know how many different cooking things they have on Netflix and how many different documentary style things they have on Netflix. They got a lot of different avenues they can go down with this if they do it the right way. However, I will say that as big as this could be, as much urgency as I think that they kind of have behind this, as opposed to other places that try to do the same thing, I can't get fully excited about this yet until I see like what they're cooking. Because there's one thing for you to support games and give it out to folks or whatever, but I need to see at least what's that one game that you guys are gonna have that nobody else is gonna have that I have to go to your service to play. That's my question. Until I see that, my excitement only can get like so high. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So that's kind of how I feel about that. I'm excited for them. I think it's big, but you ain't gonna gas me up to 100 without showing me something real. You know what I mean? Like I need to see what you got.
I definitely agree with you that I want to see, what they have to offer, but I feel like the vision is there for me, right? Like I can see it. Okay, so like let's say they really go all out, and like I love Stranger Things, right? I feel like it's one of the series that they have that would perfectly lend itself to a fully fleshed out like 3D action adventure game. If that's the only place that you can play that game, I'm there for it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the movie Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder. Basically made it. It came out like a couple months ago. It was actually a really fun movie. I feel like it would be a perfect video game too. Like the concept of the movie is Las Vegas is overrun with zombies, and this group of people has to go in and like it's kind of like a zombie heist movie in a way. They have to go into one of the casinos and steal something and get out in time, right? Perfectly lends itself to a game. And again, these are Netflix originals, so
yeah,
boom.
Blight.
Yeah, a Blight video game, like, and I the way that Netflix seems to be articulating their intentions is that they would use those properties, right? A Black Mirror, like an actual Black Mirror video game, or just more versions of Bandersnatch. Either one of those two things, I'm here for it, right? Like, you think about the way that the streaming media world has been like kind of absorbed by like the Disney Pluses and the HBO Maxes of the world and all that other stuff. This is the way that Netflix can, like, hey, we're number one again. Like, yeah, you have your Paramount Plus, yeah, you have your HBO Max, and HBO Max is doing interesting things, whatever. But none of those things have video games. None of those things have interactive entertainment in the way that Bandersnatch is. And oh, look, we went out and this isn't like a thing that actually happened, guys. But like, let's say in theory, oh, we went out and got all the guys who made all those Telltale games. Now we're gonna make a Telltale like The Witcher game. Or, that probably won't happen, but some other property that they own in particular. And it's like, oh, that blends itself perfectly to the way people consume Netflix. Like, imagine a Telltale game where you think about how people typically consume Netflix, right? Or at least for me, the people that I know typically consume Netflix in such a way that they have their phone, they cast whatever it is that they're trying to watch from their phone to their TV, right? Imagine if now that you're casting, your phone is the controller in a similar way that they did with Bandersnatch, where, okay, I'm watching a particular thing on my TV, but now, like, okay, I want to select that I say this thing, like I say in Mass Effect, and I press this button. And then I say this thing, and then the next thing happens. Like, imagine that level of interactivity. And then, on top of the fact that they will seem to eventually get into streaming video games as well, I think it's a really big deal. And, obviously it kind of leans into some of the stuff that Microsoft's been doing with xCloud and the things that we've been talking about around them trying to do cloud-based games, like the rumor thing they're doing with Kojima. Like, it seems like all of these players kind of understand that there's something there. And I think technically Microsoft was kind of one of the first people to vocalize it, per se. Google was kind of the first to market, obviously didn't implement it right. Amazon's making a play at it. Microsoft right now is in a place where they're still holding strong, and Netflix seems like, all right, we're gonna take a crack at this, and we can take a crack at it in a different way, where we have, when you really think about it, just as many IPs or more IPs really than Microsoft or PlayStation combined. When you really think about it, right? Like, all these different Netflix originals and so on and so forth, they're IP to Netflix, and they can turn any of that stuff into video games if they wanted to. Like, think about all the anime that they've been making, like original anime content. Imagine turning all that stuff into video games.
Fam, I'm thinking about Umbrella Academy. That's the one show that keeps popping into my head, like video game,
Yeah.
like Umbrella. Oh my god.
The possibilities there are like virtually endless. But yeah, Manny, I didn't. Sorry, I missed you. I kind of went down the rabbit hole with my thoughts on it there. But yeah, man, what do you think about this? I mean, are there any particular Netflix shows that you really like, or movies that you would want to see turn into a game?
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, the last couple of weeks that Castlevania hasn't been touched by Konami, and they have a Netflix show. Well, why can't they just make a Netflix exclusive where you have a Castlevania game on your mobile device? I like what they're doing, but I just hope they have like kind of like the right intentions too as well. I remember, not remember, but like reading this AP News article. A lot of it is talking about how like Netflix has been down and this and that for like the last years, like was like it's worse in a long time and this and that. I hope it's not like a play to like get into the mobile market just for like a like a cash grab type of thing. Like, we know it's free at first, but like in reality, if this do kick off, then I'm sure their price is gonna maybe not skyrocket, but go up steadily, because video games nowadays is a very expensive industry to get into, because we see how seriously these game developers take their gaming and creations when they make their games, like games going over like $100 million and just making it. So but like I said, I think it's smart for them to go for the mobile market first. I know we talk about mobile gaming being the top in gaming, essentially, because everybody has a phone, so mobile games easily accessible. And, like I said, get some great IPs going. You got They could do like a little mini Resident Evil Netflix game because they have their Netflix show. We also talk about how we don't have a Splinter Cell game. I mean, it may not be a AAA Splinter Cell game, but we take a Netflix Splinter Cell game.
Ubisoft letting that one off. Like, no way.
We're getting a Splinter Cell show, so hey.
Yeah.
Hey man, Netflix could be.
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, you don't know. So, like I said, I'm excited to see what games are they willing to do with their IPs that they have. So,
yeah, I will say one thing to what you mentioned about like their intentions on this. I mean, it's obvious that it's simply money,
obviously,
right?
yeah.
Like,
it's for money.
You can't fault them. Like,
there's better not be no Google Stadia where it's like, all right, we got this, and then all right, we're done.
Nah, I don't think that Netflix doesn't strike me as the type of company that will dive into something like that and just let it die off, right? Like, we know, and that was the very first thing that I think literally everybody said when Google said, "Oh, we're gonna do gaming," was like, okay, let's go through the long list of things that Google has implemented and then shut down. Like, Chris, you and I were we were messaging on like how many different Google platforms that eventually got shut down. Like, it's there's like Google Wave, Google Duo, this, that, the third.
It was Allo. It was a lot of them. Yeah.
I mean, Google has a track record of just abandoning ship on different products and then trying to fuse those products into different things down the road. Netflix, they definitely seem to go about their business in a very different way. And I think they have the infrastructure to do this, I'm not going to say flawlessly, but easily for them, right? Like,
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, where it's not going to it's not too much of a risk for them, I guess you could say, right? They have the infrastructure for streaming stuff, right? They've already tested the waters with Bandersnatch and the Carmen Sandiego thing that they did in the past. Like, the what was the thing you referenced before, Manny? The Bear Grylls thing?
Yeah, the Grylls thing.
Like, they already have these pieces of content that they can point to and say, okay, this worked, so on and so forth. And another side of that coin is they have data, like an insane amount of data. Like, their data influences literally everything they do. So yeah, they understand that they're losing viewership, they're losing this, they're losing that. But they've also been partnering with different gaming studios and so on and so forth to make their games into TV shows. And if they see that content gets more views than most of their other content, oh shit, gaming market, it's doing crazy numbers right now, multi-billion-dollar market, especially after COVID, and people have been really diving more into gaming. Oh, why don't we just get into gaming too? That's where we make our money. I think Netflix had mentioned that before. They're not competing against like HBO or any of that type of stuff. They were competing against Fortnite. That's what distinctly the co-CEO Reed Hastings had said in the past, is like they're competing for eyeballs and they're not looking at it just as a matter of, okay, I'm competing against other TV and cable and all that other stuff. They're competing for your time and attention. And there are so many different things out there in the world that are also competing for that. Right now, the thing that people really seem to be focusing on is gaming. So easy money to say, all right, Fortnite's the biggest thing out there. Let's go get our own Fortnite. Let's go get our own Warzone. Let's go get our own.
I better not see a battle royale.
I'm sure you will.
Come, bro.
You
can't escape it.
It is inevitable.
Escape it.
Yeah, it's absolutely
because some dev out there is gonna say, you know what? If I make my battle royale and I put it on Netflix, that's hella eyeballs. Somebody out there is gonna put on this their platform. Bro.
It's gonna be Bear Grylls battle royale.
Another thing that's actually perfect for this too. You remember oh my god, what's it called? All right. We'll go to a different thing. Remember 1 versus 100 on Xbox? Okay. What's the other game that they made on phones that everybody was like, we all used to play it on our phones at like 9 o'clock at night or whatever. It was like you answered all the questions. And then
I remember.
Oh crap! It's the trivia show thing.
Yeah.
I remember, but that thing.
It was hitting way back in the day. It wasn't even. I ain't win no money, but it was hitting.
Yeah.
Mad people.
So imagine that on Netflix, and it becomes like this seminal thing where everybody's like, yo, we got to get on Netflix at 9 o'clock, and everybody has Netflix. everybody's gonna hop on, be playing from their phone, like, oh, I got to answer this question, or however they structure it. Doesn't even have to be a trivia game. It could be anything. But if you make it that communal experience and you like get the social media stuff involved and all that stuff, and it becomes this thing that's like you tap into people's like FOMO. It's like, oh shit, like we got to play. We're gonna miss out. This is the thing that everybody's been talking about, so on and so forth. It's a game. Like it's like that is the future of interactive entertainment. That type of stuff, and I think Netflix understands it. I think that's what they're leaning into.
Yeah, so I would agree. It's also funny too. I would argue that Google might have also been too big for what they were trying to pull off with the gaming stuff. Netflix is big too. Don't get me wrong, but like I feel as though Netflix has their black book in terms of who they can call for what is like insane. Like these dudes, if they want to get a very particular voice actor for some role in a video game, I feel like Netflix will have a much easier time finding who they want than say Google. And so that's kind of what I mean when I say they're a little too big for their own britches with this one, because this is like Netflix has this stuff in-house in a sense. Not in-house, but kind of in-house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you look at like to like piggyback off what you're talking about, if you look at Netflix in particular this year, all the different big names they've been working with, right? Jason Momoa, they've working with The Rock, Gal Gadot, obviously Zack Snyder, what he's doing. He actually just announced another movie that was a prequel to Army of the Dead. So like they have these contacts and these names that they could work with to say, hey, you want to go make a video game? Hey, you want to do some voice acting? You want to do this? Imagine they get Zack Snyder to go make a video game somehow. The stuff he does is already suited for a video game, right? Like he's like ridiculous, over the top, stylized action, yada yada yada. Oh man, don't even get me started. That's like a whole different situation in that of itself, man. But it goes back to a thing that we had been talking about in the past. If you guys have been with us from the beginning, we've talked a lot about where Hollywood and video games seem to keep like bashing together and coming together with all these video game adaptations, TV adaptations of video games, the Borderlands movie coming out, all that stuff. Like this Netflix thing is another one of those things, another cog in the machine of, okay, let's just mesh these pieces of entertainment together as much as we possibly can and gain as much money as we can out of it, because both of these industries are massive. So yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes. Chris, go ahead.
Here's something that just popped into my head. I'm trying to make it quick though, because I don't want to stay on this too much longer. But do you think Netflix is going to make it a situation where if they put gaming onto your subscription, that now if you share your shit with like other folks, like they're going to have to get their own shit in order to play video games? Because you can't. How's that going to work when you're on somebody else's profile, but then you're playing games at the same time as the other person? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you have different profiles in Netflix, right? So like I have a profile for my
maybe
account,
they could do that,
right?
yeah.
Like, so they could do what I think they'll eventually do is you can only have so many profiles for this subscription tier. I think at first they're not going to bother with that, right? Yeah. Because they want it to be as seamless as possible. That's why they're not going to increase the price. But when they start getting to the point where you can stream full-fledged video games on your television, that's where the price differences are really going to start to show. And they have already been pretty strategic about every year it goes up $1. Every year maybe it goes up $2. And largely a lot of people are okay with it because the quality is there, right? Like they've actually been pumping out really good stuff, really good movies. Like if you turn on Netflix, your problem is you don't know what the hell to watch because there's so much to watch, right? And then, now just having this other category of gaming, it's going to make it even more difficult. Like, what the hell do I do? Do I want to watch this? Do I want to play this? And so forth. It's definitely going to be interesting. But yeah, I don't think Netflix is going to have a problem with this, man. I actually think that this is one of the few times of me hearing someone who you wouldn't think has any business being in gaming, jumping into gaming and being like, this could be a problem for certain people, right? Like you hear Google, you're like, all right, your tracker's record doesn't tell me this is going to work out. You hear Amazon, you're like, all right, I can kind of see this. You already got a foot in the door with Twitch, whatever. Netflix is like, I can totally see how this is going to work. 100%. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. Definitely, I'm sure by the end of this year, we'll be talking a little bit more about this for sure. So, Definitely something to keep an eye out for. But let's jump into our final topic for the week here. So last Thursday, EA came to play, man. They came swinging. They had their EA Play Live, hosted by Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, who freaking killed it in my opinion. I thought it was such a good presentation. I kind of wish that EA didn't wait to do this now and they actually did it during E3, because that would have been just another like really banging, like if they had done it at E3, they would have won the second, there's like the top tier of presentations where you're expecting like Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony to really do their thing, and then there's like the second tier with like the third party publishers. Easily would have been the best third party presentation by far, because the games they had to show off were interesting. The way they showed them off was interesting. They had a couple corny bits, but I feel like Austin Creed just did a good job of like selling that stuff. But yeah, we had some pretty awesome announcements here. Just to kind of dive into a couple different things here. We got a brand new grid game from Codemasters, who EA just recently acquired. Looks pretty cool. We got a new Apex season. They didn't really call it a season.
Yeah, that was confusing at first. I felt,
but there's a new update. It's called what's it called?
Emergent.
It's supposed to drop August 3rd, my birthday, next week. It's gonna be pretty cool. But the big guns, bro. The big guns. We got Battlefield Portal, and then of course, ladies and gentlemen, a game we talked about here on this podcast before, Dead Space. Dead Space is coming back. I cannot wait. It's looking pretty fucking good, guys. So let's dive right into it. What did you guys think about all the games showing off? And which one are you most excited about? Chris, start with you.
Man, they showed a lot of good stuff, man. I'm not gonna hold you. The Portal thing looks crazy. I think people are not really talking about like that how they're supposed to. But a lot of video games have given you the power to create game modes and this, that, and the third.
Real quick, before you dive into it, you want to just give us a quick recap of what it is?
Oh, I am sorry, people. So basically, what Battlefield Portal was, or what I understood it to be, was they're going to be giving the players the ability to be able to like manipulate game modes on particular maps and things like that. So but like to the T, like you could do everything that you want to do. Because like they had one example, I think it was, where it was what was it? I don't even know what they were. They were like these robotic arm things or whatever that were like charging. It was like 100 of them. And it was like you have to, something like that. And the game mode basically was that one person had to try to like fight off, I think, the whole wave of whatchamacallits. And I'm just like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And I think they showed off 3 or 4 different game modes from different content creators who had their hands on it beforehand. And every single one of the game modes that these guys were able to come up with looked different from one another. So what I was left with was, okay, we've gotten something like this in a lot of other video games before, never to the degree of what I saw with Portal. Portal looked like it lets you do whatever you want to do aside from actually making a map. You know what I mean? Like that's the impression I got from it. It looked like you could do whatever you want. So coupling that with Battlefield, 2042, and that's also a game that already had me feeling like, damn, I could change my loadout on the fly. I could do whatever I want. They got a tornado, man. The game really just does whatever it wants. It just kind of feels like I don't think I've ever gotten this much freedom. And again, I haven't played the game yet, but I don't think it looks like I've gotten this much freedom in a army simulator ever, bro. Like it's almost overwhelming. Like it's really almost overwhelming. I hope to God this game doesn't flop because it looks too good to not do well. But boy, oh boy, these trailers get your shivers timbered. You know what I'm saying? Golly.
That Battlefield Portal is it looks crazy. It definitely reminded me of Forge, like from Halo in a sense. The level of freedom and creativity that you can have with it, because Forge has given birth to some of the most awesome moments in Halo by far. Some brand new game modes like Griffball and so on and so forth. So I'm sure we'll see certain aspects of that with this Battlefield Portal thing. I think out of the examples that they showed off, my favorite by far was the one where it was I forgot what they called it exactly, but it's kind of like new school versus old school kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
4 Battlefield 2042 operators get dropped into a map, and they have to fight off. I think it was 32 different Battlefield 1942 players. So it's like World War II versus like future modern day kind of thing. Oh my god, it looked so freaking cool, man. I would love to dive in with like a squad of 4 and just like pick off, like go in like kind of like Rainbow Six Siege style and just kind of pick off like all these different people through the world. It'd be really cool to see how that plays out. But you know, I can imagine that they only showed us like what you said 4 or 5, right? I have to imagine that the community, the creators that they've been working with already have even more insane custom games that they can dive into and whatnot. And looking at the scope of it, like the way they showed off the trailer version of it, and I'll definitely throw some footage in there now, but like how they were just popping in hella people, like bots and all these different things into the world, it was like, yo, this looks absolutely crazy. It was like in the trailer, it was like what, a team of people with defibrillators versus a team of people with
I forgot about that.
I was like, yo, what are they doing? This is ridiculous, man.
Seems fair.
I'm here for it. Like oh man, we got to get like community together and do those private games when they drop, man.
I'm trying to don't nobody steal this. Your boy May 25th did this first. Eye of the Storm, 1v1 me. I get a squirrel suit. You get a squirrel suit. We gonna 1v1 in the middle of the tornado. What's popping? What's popping?
Is that how we do 1v1s nowadays? That's the version of Rust for Battlefield.
Damn, what's popping? What's popping?
In a tornado.
What's popping? But you got to be in a squirrel suit, maneuvering and doing. Yo, bam. See me, but I make it.
Yeah, bookmark that, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna try to make that happen.
Yeah, we got to do that because if they let you do that, we doing this.
Oh yeah. Manny, what do you think about Battlefield Portal, though, man?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's dope that they take their past Battlefield games and just mash it up into one. Like, it's a brilliant idea, and especially like for those that love like specific games like Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3, we already know those two like already like big itself. So just like bringing back those aspects of the games and just mash it up into this big editor thing that we have. Where it's just like, we're just going to have fun. We're just going to do whatever we want because, we got the tools that the devs gave us to make this, these little game modes or whatever, and we're just going to go all out. And I just think it's awesome that it gives us that freedom. And, like maybe you just don't want to play Conquest, you just want to take a break from that. Let's go on this Portal. This is, like Chris says, gross suit 1v1 on the Eye of the Storm. Just why not, right?
Bro, they were talking about the opportunity to make like gun game and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Bro,
yeah,
I miss gun game from COD. Did you ever play gun game, Chris? Is that actually in Modern Warfare?
I think so. I just never touched it, but I believe it's in there.
Do you know what it is? Like, do you know the concept of it?
Is that the one where the guns like rotate after?
So, well,
whatever.
Sort of. Like, basically, if you get a kill, like you start off with a gun, you get a kill, you level up to the next gun, and it's basically a race to get through all the guns as fast as possible. I'm like, yo, they were talking about putting that in Battlefield. I know that it was in Battlefield 4 like forever ago, but like making that happen with Portal, man, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited for this.
But you know what else I'm excited for?
What's that?
Lil Nas X and Apex.
Lil Nas, what? Are you talking about
Nas X? Yes.
He's really about to be an Apex, bro.
Don't do that. Is he? Wait, are you just making a joke, or is he actually like serious?
No, I'm making a joke.
Yo, because you're bugging, bro.
I was about to say what?
I was like, yo, that's actually kind of hype though, because he's kind of wild. He's crazy. Yo, Seer looks dope as hell. Don't make jokes like that. Don't mess with him.
Seer look like Raiden mixed with. What do you look like? Raiden mixed with Static Shock.
I'm here for it though, bro. Still look badass.
Like when I first saw him, the first thing I thought it was just like he got Lil Nas X vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's so random.
Okay, now it makes sense. I didn't understand.
Oh man, that's so random.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks badass as hell to me.
Yeah, bro.
Like when I saw him, I was like, damn, I kind of want to pick back up Apex now. I will play as him exclusively. He just looks mad cool.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. But yeah, man.
Well, go tag my.
That shit reminds me of what's his name from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
They open his chest up and then the shit's pop out.
Yeah, that was dope.
But yeah, man, you want to tell us more about him though? Like what's going on with that whole? Was it a season? Is it just an update? What's going on?
Yeah, I believe it's a new season because the season's actually coming to an end in like I think less than 15 days, anyways. So it would make sense for it to be a new season. I believe he's a scout character, and from what it looked like in the trailer, they actually showed. I think they released a gameplay trailer, but I didn't get to take a look at it. But he looked like those things that come out of his checks. Like I guess you could just do like a portal, not a portal, but like a little field, I guess, that like kind of like shows where the enemies are from what it looks like in the trailer. So hopefully it's nothing broken. I mean, you know, I feel like we have too many. I feel like we have too many scout characters as is, but you know, I mean, I'm interested to try out the character if I have the the renown or whatever it's called to buy him, because your boy's broke. But
I will be buying him. I will make sure I have enough down for that because yeah, he just looked dope as hell.
But you know, I'm excited to see what the next season is about. Like I said, all they really showed was just like a little cinematic of what this man is. So like I said, he looks dope. Denzel, is gonna pick him up. So, hopefully we see him in the battlefield.
Yo, it looks like he's gonna completely change the way the end game works with his alt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big like spear that'll I don't know how big it is, but the way they kind of outlined it was that it's big enough to take up maybe the final circle. So being able to see where people are gonna be walking, like, and if the faster they move, I think the better you can see their footsteps, from what I recall.
Something like that,
yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, he looks like he's gonna be cool, man. We gotta dive in there, bro. We got the squad, we got the trio right here.
Yeah, we already got a trio.
I'll play more Apex if you play more survival.
Cut. No, listen.
They're both 3v3s, man.
He's going off script.
He just broke the fourth wall.
Well, yo, before we dive into the big one, the big news, we also got a new grid here, guys. I don't know if you guys are too into grid, and then
ain't my thing, but I appreciate what I saw.
I was gonna say was like I prefer Forza, but from what they showed in grid looks interesting. And since I'm sure, like you said, that they acquired, was it Codemasters, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, since they acquired it, it'd probably be an EA Play day, like, the 10-hour trial. So I'll, be excited to try it out. And if it's worth buying, I don't mind, because, we don't have that Motorsports game yet. Still waiting on Forza Motorsport.
It's true. Yo, I think it's weird, though. Like, it's weird to me that EA bought Codemasters, and I didn't really think about it until the EA Play event. I'm like, y'all got Burnout and Need for Speed, massive franchises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arguably bigger than Grid, and like Codemasters, all they own is like racing games, and I would have to assume that Codemasters wants to continue to make their own racing games. So I don't know, it just seems like a weird purchase to me. Like they own like F1, Grid, Project Cars, and I know I'm missing like a couple other racing titles as well. It's just like, what was the point of buying them?
I mean, I could see either like one, like them going back to not going back, but EA having their own motorsport type game, or they're gonna probably use their racing experience into like implement it into like a Need for Speed game maybe in the future.
I'm hoping
that I could see. I could
see the Need for Speed more than. But
the thing, the worry for me is that now you have this whole segment of people who are going to be pissed off, because that means if Codemasters are going to be making those franchises, that means they're not going to be making Grid, they're not going to be making Project Cars, they're not going to be making F1, right? So it's like, Dirt as well. They made Dirt. That was one of the franchises. So it's like, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, it could be more of them just helping out, not completely taking over Need for Speed and stuff like that, but just like, maybe messing around with the physics and the car driving and everything like that, because we already know how arcadey Need for Speed feels, even though that's like the charm of the game. But
Yeah,
maybe they could just like fix the quality of life stuff with driving.
hopefully. I'm curious to see where that goes. If it goes beyond them just making more grid and like the games that they've already been making elsewhere. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, man. The big one, the big thing out of that whole event was that we're finally getting Dead Space back.
I thought I was talking about Knockout City.
I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to show some quick love to that random game that they showed too. That shit looks fire as fuck. Random. Yeah. And I'm here for that. It looked weird. It looked bizarre, but it looked super fun. I like stuff like that. Keep that shit up. Yeah. Sorry. All right.
No. We gotta give that a little bit more attention, bro. We gotta give that a little bit more attention. One thing that I really, really appreciate about EA lately is that they've really like dove in headfirst into their like EA Originals program. Obviously we saw Knockout Cities come out of that program. We saw oh my god, what's the name of the game? I'm drawing a blank on everything today. It's the co-op game that just released.
Oh yeah, It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. Yep, that like, tremendous success. Like those games are absolutely fantastic. EA's been doing a lot of good things. Garnering a lot of goodwill among the community, I guess, with all the games that they've been releasing. For every Anthem mishap that they've had a Knockout City or It Takes Two or so on and so forth. So I really have to give them a lot of credit for that. But that random game, Lost in Random looks really cool, like
really original looking. Yep. Like it's different, bro. You know what I mean? I like that. Yeah.
I want to see more of that for sure. That's one of those games I'll definitely try out. With the trial, and like if I like the way the gameplay mechanic is, because I don't fully understand it yet. I'll definitely dive in. They showed like something at a particular moment where there was like trading cards, but I think the cards are just power-ups for your character. I didn't fully get a good grasp on what was going on because they were trying to get to the next thing. But I'm definitely interested in it. I like the art style. I'm here for random games like that. Like I've been playing Death's Door recently, and that's definitely a different game, different style of game, indie game.
The super Tim Burton-y, you know what I mean? Like I'm here for the Tim Burton style looking shit there.
Yeah.
Like the clay animation or the stop animation and stuff. That shit is fire in a video game. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get like a new Mass Effect, we didn't get new Dragon Age or anything like that, but the stuff that I think they showed off was really good. Like that Lost in Random game was definitely something that I like to see. I feel like they did a good job of not focusing on the sports games there, because that's not everybody's cup of tea, and it largely can get repetitive, right? We've seen the same thing every year. But yeah, again, diving into the last thing here, guys. It's Dead Space, right? As I've talked about before, I'm a big Dead Space fan. Y'all know how I feel about horror games, as we talked about earlier. This is going to be a complete remake of the game, going back to the original ship. I forgot what it's called, the U.S. Hachimura or something like that. I forget what it's called, but they showed off like a little teaser of it. They showed the health bar like on his back kind of thing, like kind of as like a teaser to show you, okay, like we're still keeping some of those mechanics of the original game, kind of the pillars of the things that about the game. They showed off the necromorph. They had like the little thing on the wall that said shoot their limbs off, which was directly out of the original game. Like I'm loving the atmosphere that they're setting with this story, and oh man, I'm just very excited, very, very excited. This didn't really come out in the actual showcase, but they did have a couple interviews after the fact where they talked about they want to set a stage where, if for those of you who don't remember playing the original Dead Space, obviously they were on older consoles. They needed to run on a hard drive, and those hard drives had to load up different parts of the world, right? But Dead Space in particular was very inventive about how they would go about loading different parts of the world. Remember, there was a train that they used to kind of put you from point A to point B, and they use that as a way to load you into the next level. I know there was a couple cutscenes they had where like you were floating through space, and they also use that as a mechanism to load the game. One of the things that they specifically talked about, because this game is going to be next gen only, is that there will be no loading times ever in the game. Everything will be a completely seamless experience from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, and I find that very fascinating. I don't know if they're going to use some of the same techniques. I mean, I guess they wouldn't have to, right? Because it's an SSD on all these systems. But I just think it's cool, man. I'm so excited to see how they bring back like the essence of Dead Space. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to get you guys' take on it here, Manny. So I'm gonna start with you, my fellow horror games guy. What do you think, bro?
I'm a horror game guy. Wow, guys, I got the badge of honor. The game
You
looks
always playing with me. You always playing with me.
the game looks crazy, man. Like when they showed the trailer, like the way the scenery looks and everything like that, it looks amazing. Like I just can't wait to get my hands on the game. And it's interesting enough because I didn't get to take a look at the interview and how you said like it's just no loading times. I just can't imagine just like having to play and like continually having to deal with the stress of being chased by these necromorphs. I don't want to deal with it. But like those train loading times were my safe haven. I better have like a safe room. But I mean the game looked like I said, just like crazy, like the scenery, everything's like all dark and just all spooky. And then I remember when they showed like the little necromorph just like had his arm stretched out and whatever, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta deal with those again. And then what is it called? Presumably, if it's a remake, I'm sure the character's probably name is Isaac. But when they showed Isaac and the health bar in the back and everything like that, I was like, ooh, they gotta go back to the original route. And I'm excited because, like Dead Space was such a great game. I remember like watching the interview a long time ago, one of like the devs that worked with the game, and I was explaining this one scene that will like I guess make or break the game essentially, and like I was explaining like the choreography and everything like that, and like just I remember watching that interview and I was just like I love how they just paid so much attention to detail, and I'm hoping like it's gonna be the same thing with this one where it's like they want to make sure that like that one like not one scene but like every scene is just like perfect because like I remember they said they took that one scene. I think it took them like a month or two like just to create that one scene, and it was like like a 10-second like cutscene, and I'm just like I love that attention to detail that they brought in, and I hope that like we get that kind of attention to detail with this game.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping so too. But yeah, Chris, what about you, man? Did you ever play original Dead Space?
A little bit. I tried to go back and play part. Actually, I tried to play the first one a long time ago. I want to say maybe about 3 years ago. It looked dope, but it was a little too dated for me in terms of like me trying to play. I couldn't get through it. But in terms of what I saw with the new thing, all I got to say is EA, they'll be making this game with Unreal Engine 5, y'all. Making this shit with 4. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it with 4, bro, because we don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put it this way, man. A little bit that I did play of Dead Space back before, even though it was dated, it still was creepy as shit. It still had the vibe. It still had it got its point across the way it needed to, I kind of feel. So, man, if they're rebuilding off of this, I'm very excited for it. I definitely will play through this other one. I don't know. I was supposed to play a couple of different horror games, but at this point, I'm just kind of saving a bunch of them for October because it's right around the corner. I might as well just do a whole scary game month and don't touch no Destiny, don't touch no nothing, just banging out scary games for the whole month. That's what I kind of want to do. I'll see if I can hold myself to it. But yeah, man, I think this is big. This is going to be a big thing. There's not a lot of them on the field right now. Another horror game is always going to be something good. And I know the game has a really, really big fan base. So even when the rumor first started, like people online were going nuts about this. So this, yeah, I hope there's a multiplayer aspect like involved in it though. Cause I think like this kind of world would be really cool with like, I don't know. I don't want to say like a Friday the 13th kind of thing, but I guess kind of like a Friday the 13th kind of thing if they added it in. Because I don't know, I'm really kind of here for some kind of multiplayer experience where you do still have to deal with a really horror-esque dark environment. I think that's really kind of cool when they give it to us the right way. So, not so much like a Left 4 Dead kind of thing, more so just yeah. I wanted to be more like Friday the 13th, if anything, but just in their environment. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I can't really say too much because I didn't really see a whole bunch of stuff, but I got a bunch of faith in these dudes to pull this one off. This is usually where I think EA kind of like digs their heels in when they know that it's a fan favorite kind of game, especially because some of their other sequels that they ported over kind of really didn't hit. So I think, yeah, they definitely are in the mind space of we got to make sure some of these fan service ones are like going to do their job. So yeah, I think it's in good hands. I don't know if did they give us a date? That's the one that's coming.
They didn't, and based on how bare bones that trailer was, I think we might be
2023.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably 2023. If I were to guess, I'd put the stake in the ground February 2023.
Why February?
I feel like February would be too early. I feel like it would be more of like a, Q4, Q3 game.
You think so? Yeah. I think I don't think it'll be a fall game. I think it'll be a spring game or a winter game. I just have that vibe. I don't think it's gonna be one of those like holiday releases, or whatever. I mean, it's big enough, and I also think the industry's in a place where they're not just waiting for Q4 to drop everything anymore. Like they can release big games in the summer or in the winter, or whenever. I just have a feeling that it's gonna be a February 2023 game. I don't know why. That's just the vibe I'm getting.
We're gonna book it down right here.
I want a really good story though too, man. I want a good fleshed out story. Like add on to what you guys already had, put new details into it, give us something because this sci-fi stuff. Granted, I might not be here for the horror stuff sometimes because I could way easier watch a horror movie before I play a horror video game. I don't know why, but that's just how I'm wired. I can watch a horror movie like it's nothing. But I guess maybe it's part of me being in the game and it fucks with me. I don't know what it is, bro, but I can't. I have problems.
I feel like in control. It's usually what.
Yeah, I have problems, bro. You should have seen me trying to play Evil with. Dude, I cut myself down and I was looking at him chopping up that dude on the table and I was.
You're slowly, collectively losing your mind. I hope you guys
I'm
know.
Supposed to interact with him? Nah, fam, I'm gonna head out. We're the off button. I ain't touched the game since, bro. I ain't touched it since. So.
Why you gotta be such a sussy baka?
Fam, yo, that shit had me gave me the heebie-jeebies. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna force myself through it, but because I know it'll be good content when I finally do it. But I have trouble, bro. I have trouble. I can't. He was just chopping him on the table like nothing. He just.
Man, that's how I feel, man.
What are you doing?
I feel like that game is a little more easier though, because like it's third person, and you can kind of.
Man said easy. What?
It's different, yo. I do have to say it's different playing the first person, bro. Like playing Resident Evil 7 and Village, like the level of immersion, that'll mess you up, man. It's different. It's definitely different. I don't know if saying that is gonna encourage you to play those games.
I have to. It's good content. I have to. I gotta build my brain up for it. I gotta, get my May 25th in popping, and yeah. But I ain't ready yet. I'm trying to build it up.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
you remember how I screamed in Gears all those years back, and that's not even a horror game. That's not even a horror game. You remember that?
What do you mean? The original Gears was scary.
You wasn't here for that group.
The Berserker,
Gears, man.
Yo, the Berserker. My guy let out the worst scream.
It was so movie-esque. I didn't even know I had that shit in me because if I try to do it, I ain't gonna be able to do it. It just came out, bro. The that big ass thing cornered me.
Bro, Berserkers were the worst. I was the same thing, bro. Gears of War 1 was like, I don't care what anybody says, that game was a war game.
It did have horror elements into it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, bro. He just chased me down and I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, man.
Damn, yo, imagine the Coalition drops like a horror game. Maybe that's their new IP.
Hey, man. Who knows?
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Who knows?
All right. Damn, that would actually be really dope. Now I'm thinking about it.
So I mean, I feel like it's possible. I mean, because the Coalition, they got the past two Gears of War games, like they were like all dark and. Well, actually, Gears of War 5
Gears of War
was
5 is pretty bright. Yeah, they definitely want.
Gears of War 5 was more like an action adventure, in my opinion. Even though, like,
I agree.
I know 4 was more of like they try to go back to those horror roots of Gears of War 1, but I feel like this is one back.
I think they went to more. I wouldn't say they went horror. I think they just try to like do like a whole mysterious angle because of Kate and all that other stuff. I don't know.
Well, I remember like watching an interview. They're saying like how they want to like, bring just like have that like that classic Gears feeling to it, because like like we mentioned, Gears of War 1 was just crazy. So
yeah, I guess it was supposed to be like a soft reboot, so that does make sense. But yeah, but man, imagine them making like some sort of horror franchise. I'm thinking that if they are making a new IP, I know we like jump back to Coalition, but this is kind of the last thing until we're heading out. Before, if I don't know if anybody remembers this, but before they became the Coalition, they were Black Tusk Studios, and they were supposed to make some sort of like espionage, like shooter game, which now that I'm thinking about it, kind of sounds very similar to like Perfect Dark, but they were supposed to make something like that, and then they kind of scrapped it, pivoted, completely changed directions. Rod Ferguson went to head the studio up, and yada yada yada. Now Rod's gone. I think he's working to make Diablo. I think with Activision Blizzard, who's clearly having a terrible week. But
naughty Rod.
Time. But yeah, I mean, now they have a new studio head. They've kind of talked about they may be putting Gears of War on the back burner for a little while. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they dug up that old franchise. That'd be really cool. But we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, guys, we're gonna head out unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about or add to the situation. I know we're excited for Dead Space. We're excited for Battlefield Portal. Yeah.
I ain't got nothing. I said it all, done it all.
Word. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week. Before we go, as we always do, Manny, where can the people find you?
You already know, twitch.tv/GoopMasterFlex, Instagram, Twitter at GoopMasterFlex_TTV, and TikTok at No Contact Gaming. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for that. I don't know how we got into Red Dead territory here.
I don't know where that came from.
But yeah.
My bad.
Chris, aka CG, aka May 25th. What's going on, my boy? Where can they find you?
Well, if we're talking with our cowboy voices, I might as well give you my socials and my cowboy voice too. You can catch me on everything at MAY25THXX on everything. And don't be trying to pen pal me no more. I don't do that no more. All right, that's it.
I'm typically a team player, but there ain't no way in hell y'all catching me doing that voice.
Come on, man.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can find me, Black Ice 8, everywhere. Xbox, Twitter, Twitch. You can also find me on Instagram at BlackIce8_gaming, as well as on the TikTok. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you guys next week. The little rumor saying that we might have a Halo Infinite beta to talk about next week. So I'll leave y'all at that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.